And we are finally live. Holy jeez, trying to get LinkedIn off. Welcome you all for the top nutrition myths. It's been a while since I've come out and put something to you. Why is that? Look at this. I look pretty exhausted, right? So here at Functionize, the Fit Lab, we got another ARX coming in. We've got the red lights. We just installed an oxygen bar. The Fit Clinic has been rocking and rolling between chiropractic, biofeedback, peak performance, and we got a private club coming. Yep, I said a private club. It's called Vibe. It's here in Colts Neck. Give me a couple months to finish getting this all set, but it's going to be the premier private exclusive club for all your health needs and lifestyle needs. And what I mean by lifestyle needs, a lot of people say, Jim, it's really easy. You know, you don't drink, you don't eat sugar, you're just some freak, right? Hell no. It's a lifestyle. I drink a ton. Oh, you almost had me there. I was going to say I drink a ton of wine. I drink enough. I like tequila. I love cognac. Nothing better than Celt XO. A little warmed, you sip on it. Oh, it's amazing. Now, how am I able to do this stuff and eat dark chocolate, a lot of dark chocolate, and still get away with it? I'm keeping my shirt on for right now, but you get the gist of it. A lot of red light photos lately. Whatever. So it's all about a lifestyle. Eating the right things that you can swap out for something. For instance, cookies don't have to be made with sugar. I mean, have you tried allulose lately? Holy jeez, allulose tastes so good. Tastes like pure sugar crack. Mixed with some monk fruit. A lot of people say they don't like the stevia. It's okay you don't like stevia. We got all these other alternatives. So there's ways to make wheat-free, sugar-free, delicious cookies. Have your wine from time to time. Have a drink from time to time. Work hard, train hard, play hard. And that's what Vibe is all about, is that playing hard spot. It's 24-hour access. You have a private key fob to get in. Very safe. Come with your friends. Meet some new friends there. Do some networking. Just the place to go. Because in the Fit Lab, which is designed for efficiency, you're not supposed to be here for more than 15, 20 minutes. So you don't have to go home, but you can stay here. Go a few doors down to Vibe. Stay there all you want. So what does all this mean? This means I gotta get going and keep bringing this awesome information to you. So the top nutrition myths. If you miss something here, you're going to have to go back. So you might as well just hang with me here. If you got questions, leave in the box below. I will get back to you. I will answer them. And I'm also going to put this up on the podcast player, which will be available on every single Apple podcast, Google podcast, what do you got? Stitcher. Pretty much if you can download on a podcast player, do it. Make sure you subscribe. Why subscribe? Because when we start coming out with these weekly again, and we start having our parties here weekly again, like we were rocking and rolling before, you're going to want to be part of it, right? Right. So you'll get a notice that something new is up. And this information is so extremely valuable. So many people keep asking questions after I've done these things. So it just helps to go back in the search button, type it in, and it's on our functionize.com website. And you're going to get everything you ever need, every question ever answered. So you don't have to keep on asking me, because I'm going to be at Vibe. Let's face it. This weekend, Shantae and I are heading down to Jacksonville to compete in our Spartan 10K Elite Division. They got tickets right over here. We're actually supposed to do it 5K, but that's Sunday. So who wants to kind of sit around and keep on training all weekend? So let's do the 10K. And yeah, here you go. 7:45, start time, Elite. Let's bring it. Let's do it. Always have goals, and they start with nutrition in the kitchen. You like how I did that? So some people actually say protein is bad for you, which is crap. People say that carbs and fats should be eaten more than protein, simply because protein is accused of harming bones and kidneys. Now, why would anyone think that protein is going to harm bones and kidneys? A lot of vegetarians who think that you got to eat, and starting a war here, but the vegetarians of the world think that you have to eat vegetables, 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 and that's it. You know how many toxins are in vegetables? Oh my goodness. I'm not talking about pesticides. I'm talking about the toxins that the vegetables actually give off because you know what? They don't want to be eaten. So through the seeds and the skin, these toxins are released to ward off insects. And if they do eat it, insects or animals, and if they do eat it, they get viciously sick. They're going to ever rethink it, and some even die. Eat a cow. A cow is protein, and it's been vilified a lot, but we're recognizing now more than ever that depends on the genotype, a more heavy blend of protein from animal sources does a body good. Why is it most vegetarians, again, we compare one to the other here, just for research purposes, but why is it vegetarians rarely, if ever, have cut abs? Yet carnivores typically do. Why is that? Why is that the carnivores typically have less body fat than do vegetarians? Answer is going to probably be found somewhere in the little discussion I'm having with you here. As always, I digress. All has to do with the processing of a lot of the carbs from vegetables. So anyway, did I just say vegetables? Yeah, it's been one of them days. Keep on getting up at 4 a.m. It happens. So your body draws its calcium stores in bones to buffer the acid load caused by dietary protein. So therefore, researchers say that higher protein intake can cause greater bone loss. And most studies that looked at protein intake and calcium excretion list dairy products as a protein source. So higher urinary calcium could simply be the result of higher calcium intake, i.e. more calcium in, more calcium out. In all, I got to say, let me go back here. Looking at calcium excretion is just not enough because you got to do more studies, right? And more studies show that dietary protein promotes dietary calcium absorption. Weird. It's kind of like one thing saying one thing, the other saying the other, and they're not crisscrossing. High protein intake actually promotes bone growth and retards bone loss, whereas low protein diet is associated with higher risk of hip fractures. Fact. What actually is happening is that when you ingest more protein, you absorb more of the calcium in your food, so less calcium ends up in your, in your Cinnabons. We'll just put it that way, because you pretty people out there only have Cinnabons. Yeah, nothing gross here. So later your body gets rid of the calcium it doesn't need, so more calcium ends up in your urine, but not as much as would have otherwise ended up in your Cinnabons. So therefore, an increase in protein leads to an overall decrease in calcium excretion, which points to an increase of calcium retention. Make sense? Let's get to the kidney damage. Protein in large amounts isn't harmful for your bones or kidneys, unless you suffer from pre-existing condition. It's been theorized in some studies, and studies can prove anything. I mean, I saw a study that you eat pizza every day, you live to 102. This is a 102-year-old who ate pizza every day. Observational study. That high protein diets increase glomerular filtration rates. Say that with me 10 times. Which is a marker for waste filtration in the kidneys. It was argued that increased glomerular filtration rates, GFR, was a sign that undue stress was put on the kidneys. But later research has shown that kidney damage does not occur as a result of diets high in protein. Why do we have to go into all that? Protein good. Unga bunga. Makes sense, right? Let's get to myth number 2 that I'm going to talk to you about. Carbs are bad for you, okay? Everybody thinks of me as Mr. Keto himself. And I keep telling people, no. I mean, yes, I do eat very, very low amounts of carbohydrates. But at the same time, carbs are in a lot of things. You know, carbs are in nuts. Check out your nuts. Carbs are in so many things. So it's not that carbs are totally bad for you. It's processed carbs. Now, a lot of people talk about the glycemic index and the insulin index. Glycemic index goes up, insulin comes up to lower glucose. Available research shows that low glycemic diets, when compared to high glycemic diets, have either no effect or only modest beneficial effects on metabolic syndrome factors, even in diabetics. Now, I'm not saying that you need to eat a lot of carbs. Everything's in moderation. Everybody, this whole world loves to go to extremes. Let's go all carnivore. Let's go all vegetarian. Let's go all carb. Let's go all fat. There's a healthy blend. And again, based on your genotype, if you ain't testing, you're guessing. You got to test your blood. You got to test your genetics and see what's right for you. Keto Project movie, which is coming out. The trailer should be done very shortly. We've been working a lot on that. But as we talked about with that, Dr. Brandon does much better on vegetation than do I. I do far better on meat than he does. We've quantified the numbers. It's a fact. Another myth, which is the opposite side, fats are bad for you. If one more person tells me that I'm going to kill myself with a six-pack, a virile young guy who just turned 40, who's performing at a higher level than ever before, whose lab markers are better than ever before, what is wrong with eating 2 pounds of bacon? Please tell me. Ansel Keys decided, let's clog the sink with fat. It cools, and that fat blocks the flow of water. Therefore, if that was inside your body, which is not cool, it's 98.6-ish, that therefore arteries are clogged. False. You eat sugar, you eat processed foods, you're going to increase floating glucose. It's going to damage your blood vessels. When the blood vessels get damaged, cholesterol, which is already in your body, healthy cholesterol, is going to do its job aside from making hormones, and it's going to fix those breaks, the little cracks in your blood vessels. Well, enough of the fixing, it's going to clog it up. It's not from the cholesterol, it's from the breaks, it's from the damage, it's from the sugar, it's from the excess glucose that's floating around. So I just said before, the myth of carbs are bad for you. Excess carbs, high glycemic carbs are bad for you. No, Larry, it's not okay to eat cookies in the morning. It's not okay to eat biscotti at night. I got that flipped around. Either way, ice cream at night, biscotti cookies in the morning with sugar in the coffee, not okay. You reverse diabetes, keep it that way, right? I know he's already turned off on this one. Egg yolks are bad for you. Again, no. Just no. Foods high in cholesterol can increase LDL cholesterol, but to only a very small amount overall. So, moreover, a lot of the micronutrients, other bioactive compounds in egg yolks could interfere with cholesterol absorption, and many studies have failed to find an increase in cholesterol in egg eaters. So, just because food has dietary cholesterol does not mean it significantly raises it to unhealthy levels. And just because LDL goes higher doesn't mean that's a bad thing. Not to freak out. You want to see HDL go higher too, and it's being proven that cholesterol is not an indicator of heart disease anyway, so what the crap do we care? Let's just keep on moving on, right? Red meat's bad for you, says the myth, right? Geez, once again, I use myself as the example. I'm sounding kind of smug, I gotta say. But under the shirt is small amounts of body fat. Just leave it at that. Yesterday, I had an amazing 10-mile run. I was doing 8 minutes a mile. True. It is 3 minutes and 10 seconds slower than my fastest time ever when I was in high school, and 60 pounds less than I am right now. Lab markers look great. I had, 5 pounds of red meat for dinner last night, and after my workout getting ready for this weekend in the competition, I had another 5-ish pounds of meat again this morning. Doing good. No problem. A lot of people say red meat causes cancer. Everything causes cancer, right? I don't want to sound so unscientific, though. Cancer is actually particularly difficult to discuss in absolutes. As I was mocking, everything causes cancer. I mean, after all, everything we eat has the potential to be involved in cancer development, yet red meat somehow is the culprit. So there's some compounds, such as polyaromatic hydrocarbons. I got to look up and remember these big words. It's found in smoked meats. They've been found to damage the genome, and damaging the genome is the first step to cancer. Evidence suggests that processed meats, particularly those that are charred, can pose greater risk for people with poor diets and lifestyles. So pretty much saying smoke it, char it. It's going to possibly, in unhealthy individuals, and we don't know if you're healthy or not, because all health is the absence of disease, and we could miss a marker somewhere. So just avoid smoked meats and blackened meats, because they can change the genome, and when that changed genome replicates, what do you got? Cancer. Has nothing to do, though, with the actual meat itself. And grass-fed beef is high in omega-3s, has far more than organic farm-raised fish, that's for damn sure. And stick with the red meat. There's really nothing wrong, and it's been shown to be very good. A lot of the individuals that we talked to over the summertime in making the movie, the Keto Project, are meat advocates. Carnivore Diet's one of the books that one of the guys actually did. Very sound science behind it. You know what? Bring on the bait. Let's have it. Nothing wrong, though, with a complete diet. Not an absolute, complete. All right, another myth. Salt is bad for you, so you need salt. Let's just put it. Excess salt can increase hypertension, kidney damage, and increased risk of cognitive decline. But it's essential. Salt is a electrolyte. A lot of people don't understand what electrolytes are. They think, let me drink Gatorade. Not enough to do anything. But it's some mystery substance. It's salt. You can get salt from, use celery. Celery stalks have salt in it. It doesn't mean you need to take a ton of white iodized salt and dump it on your charred red meat. Salt reduction is important for people with salt-sensitive hypertension. Excessive salt intake is associated with harm. But a drastic increase has not shown uniform benefit in clinical trials. So most people are going to benefit more from a diet of mostly unprocessed foods than from micromanaging their salt intake. Got it? Good. Don't got it? Leave a little message. Bread's bad for you. White bread versus whole bread. I'm just going to say you don't need it. Don't. A lot of people are sensitive to wheat. We can test through the IgG sensitivities, IgA sensitivities. The gluten content isn't necessarily to blame. Other foods could also be implicated in this as well. Bread is not going to inherently cause weight gain unless it puts you in a caloric surplus, and or disease unless you do have a sensitivity to it, to which it is going to cause inflammation. So you don't need bread. If you want it and you're okay with your IgG, IgAs, fine. Personally, I'm going to stay away from it. High fructose corn syrup being worse than sugar. They're very similar from a health perspective. High fructose corn syrup does contain more fructose. Difference is really negligible. It's been vilified, but you know what? If I'm telling you to stay away from sugar, just stay away from sugar altogether, whether it's high fructose corn syrup or sugar. Just don't. All right, dietary supplements are necessary. Do you need it? Why are you taking a multivitamin? Let me just ask you right there. The answer I usually get, which you may have given me, but I can't hear you back and forth on this, is that I'm supposed to, or it's just good for you. Well, if you've got two different vitamins and you got minerals in there that combating each other for absorption, then already that's a bad idea. So why not take a micronutrient panel and figure out what you need? You know, up in the Northeast, vitamin D, you're probably lacking, so there's no reason why not to take a vitamin D supplement with 11 grams of fat, which is your optimal uptake, by the way, and take that every day. Build on it from there. Let's see, is your glutathione levels low? You might need IV injections. Or is your C low? Is there a particular B vitamin that's low? Are you lacking zinc? These are very important to know and understand. So if you're not, you're just having some expensive urine. And if you're getting them from crap sources, such as Walmart or Walgreens or something like that, and they're not bioavailable, then again, you're just pissing out your money. It'd be more fun to take some money, take some hundreds, to which you're going to spend on your supplements anyway, light them with a match, and drive down the parkway or whatever highway is near you, throw it in the air, take a photo. That would be a lot more fun, I think, than to take some chemical that your body's not going to absorb. Could end up doing some harm to it if you're not up on your micronutrients, and going that route. That just doesn't seem like fun. You could be harming your body. If you ain't testing, you're guessing, right? So certain nutrients that people take as supplements. A lot of people claim that natural and whole foods are always better than synthetic supplements, right? In general, the word natural has a positive connotation where synthetic has a negative one, right? I remember Lay's potato chips. They're natural. They contain processed sea salt, but they're natural. I promise you they're not going to be really good for you here, so just cut those out. Some compounds are more effective in supplemental form, such as curcumin and turmeric. On its own, your body's not going to absorb it, so there's no point in just eating turmeric. In liposomal form and supplemented with piperine, also known as black pepper, the curcumin in the turmeric increases. So you're taking the extract, you combine it with piperine in a liposomal form, and you get some good absorption. Same goes for instance, vitamin K1. It's tightly bound to membranes in plants and thus more bioavailable in supplemental form because your body's not breaking down that cell wall in the plant membrane. Likewise, folic acid, which is benign, 10, is more bioavailable than folate, which is typically present in foods, although that's not necessarily a good thing. Fresh is more nutritious. Maybe not. Depends on the source, depends on the soil. Altogether, if your fresh stuff grew in crappy soil and your stuff that's from a can was grown in great soil, guess what? Might be fresher to get it out of a can. Foods labeled natural or healthier, we just went over, seriously, the labeling of natural and potato chips. You think that's healthy? No. All right. Our all-time favorite, and I know this is so redundant, eat clean. What the is eating clean? Seriously, what is eating clean? You scrubbing your food with soap? Are you eating soap? Are you coating your food in a delicious Dawn or Palmolive soap? A lot of misconceptions. Some people think it's only plant-based food. Others think it's raw food. Some's only organic. Some is pesticide-free. Eating clean is so tough to define. I mean, what exactly is eating clean to you? A lot of gurus don't agree with eat clean is. I mean, myself and colleagues have gotten together to try to come up with eating clean, and we start to disagree on it. So it's not really a fight to have. It's not a big deal. Stick to the basics. Whole foods if you can, because you don't know where the source was in the can or anything else. The soil and everything. If you know the soil locally is very rich and dense in nutrients, always shop local, right? Small amount of processed foods ain't going to kill you. Stay away from it as much as possible. It's always the abundance, and when somebody has a little bit, they're going to take a couple miles with that one. Peel off outer skins that may have been treated. Otherwise, if they're not treated, obviously eat that. But do know that the skins are full of chemicals trying to kill you because, it's a plant. It doesn't want to be eaten. Detox regularly is another myth. Again, oh my goodness. Oh gosh. It's crap. It's crap. You want to waste some money? Do a detox. Buy a detox kit. Go ahead. Buy a detox kit. You're going to waste your money. People want to eat clean, so they're going to detox. They're thinking they're going to just drink plant-based juices, which is just a sugar rush from hell, and you're going to damage your blood vessels. Not a good idea, right? Some people are going to starve themselves, and that's the best type of detox going, is doing a actual real fast without eating food, and you're just drinking water. It's tough to do. Why? You're going to get hungry. But if you really want to do something, you will. Focus on sustainable health habits. Sustainable and the lifestyle, like I was talking about with Vibe, it's a lifestyle. Your body's going to change and it's going to adapt. So if your body's going to eat foods that are right for its genetics and they lack the toxins that are in the food, your body is going to convert into most likely a far healthier version of itself at a cellular level. If your lifestyle is eating ice cream or baked goods, and don't tell me you don't like it, because I know you do. If you're eating highly processed foods all the time, then your body can convert to that too. You want to detox? Stop eating that way. You don't need some fad detox kit to do that. So save your money, just change your lifestyle. And if you like cookies, and I keep bringing up an example because I like cookies, just change the way you make it. Thank you, Kristen Estevez. I'm calling you out. I told you I will pay you every week for the ingredients in your time. If you make those cookies you made for Shantae on her birthday, oh my gosh, they were amazeballs. Amazeballs, so good. All right, a lot of people also say eating often is going to boost your metabolism. Eat 5-6 small meals a day. Digestion does slightly increase your metabolic rate, so I'll give them that. But the frequency of your meals will have less effect on your weight than the total caloric intake at the end of the day. It's being shown that eating 1 large meal a day, 2 meals a day, is better for longevity than by eating 5 or 6 small meals a day. Depends on the person, depends on how much and what you're eating. If you have a plan, you will lose the weight. Eating 5 to 6 small meals a day is really not going to do jack diddly squat. It's all about what you're eating. So if you eat 5 pounds of meat once a day, it's a lot better than eating 6 small meals a day of Twinkies, Ho-Hos, peanut butter and jelly, bagel, pizza, things like that. Except for the pizza I make. That is some good stuff. So myth 16. I think I'm on 16 right now. I lost count. That you shouldn't eat breakfast. Well, we're living in the fad world now of intermittent fasting, and it's been shown to be a thing. Yeah, it's a real thing. You don't need to eat breakfast to be healthy or lose weight. You really don't. Do you know who actually came up with that idea that breakfast is the healthiest meal of the day? Someplace named Kellogg's. Kellogg's came up with that and decided that people started thinking that they're going to eat more cereal because they couldn't get rid of that crappy stuff. So they did, and it worked, and people started having more heart attacks and metabolic syndromes and got sicker on viruses that go pandemic. You should base your breakfast consumption on your preference and personal goals. Experiment, see if you like intermittent fasting, see how you do it with it. If not, feel free to have breakfast if you wake up and you're actually hungry. I'd also be curious to see what you're eating before bed if you're that hungry when you wake up in the morning. To lose weight, don't eat before bed. Eating late is not going to make you gain weight unless it drives you to eat more. Resisting the high calorie snacks after a long, hard day is also very tough. So a lot of people tend to have high calorie snacks before bed, and thus what it does do is it sits in your digestive system and kind of putrefies a little bit and interferes with your brain trying to sleep and unwind because your body is still going through a digestive process. You get a better sleep if you don't eat before bed. However, you will just watch what you eat before bed, right? Yeah, I'm burning out, but I'm going to stick with you until I give you the rest of these myths. Lose fat, do cardio on an empty stomach. No. There you go. Some people prefer it, some people don't. I've worked with some amazing women and men on getting their bodies to look absolutely amazing and stuff on stage. I know that don't need to do fasted cardio. There's really little difference in all the research studies in regards to fat loss, muscle preservation, daily caloric intake, metabolic rate. It really doesn't matter that much. What really matters is you. Some people feel lighter and energized when they do cardio on an empty stomach, while others feel lightheaded and sluggish. What makes you feel better? Do it that way. Another myth is that you need protein right after a workout. Hate to burst your bubble here. Biohack Humans podcast way back in the millennia. Dr. Brandon and I went over that. And unless you've been exercising on an empty stomach, you don't need protein immediately after your workout. You could benefit, depending on your weight and activity level and goals, of 0.24 to 0.6 kilograms of body weight, which is 0.11 to 0.27 grams per pound within the next couple of hours. What matters most is how much protein you get over the course of the entire day, not necessarily in that one sitting right after you work out, where it's said that your cells are most receptive to that shuttling in protein throughout the day. That's the most important part. Might not be a bad thing to get a little bit after your workout, but again, the whole day is what matters more. Another myth on creatine. Creatine has been actually shown to ward off Alzheimer's, help with cognition, as opposed to sarcopenia and increasing physical performance. Some people say it also increases testosterone. So myth busted on that one. Doesn't increase testosterone. Creatine is not really going to cause hair loss. Not going to have adverse reactions on kidneys. Creatine's good. Creatine is good for you. So if you're going to take a second supplement, as I often recommend, is essential amino acids, the very high leucine count in there, as number 1, helps with cellular repair. Number 2, creatine for everybody, men, women, children, everybody. Creatine is a good thing. A lot of people also say negative calorie foods are the key to weight loss. Like, you're going to eat something and burn more calories than that food actually has. Myth busted. There's no evidence that food actually possesses negative calories. So it's not going to contribute to weight loss. But foods categorized as negative calories tend to be higher in water and fiber, so the consumption may lead to weight loss because you consume less food. The fiber and waters can make you feel full. That's it. A lot of this crap comes from mainstream media. And hopefully you're not being fooled by all the mainstream propaganda and jargon that's been out there. You ever see V for Vendetta? It's a fun movie, but it's all about propaganda and manipulation of people. You've also got Hunger Games. That's purely social media propaganda to manipulate masses of people. When it comes to your nutrition, money talks. And a lot of brands want you to buy their brands. Hence Kellogg's, breakfast is the healthiest meal of the day, they say. Magazines want to sell ad copy. The more people buy their magazine, the more they can sell their ad copy for. It's all capitalism. Don't be capitalized on, though. The nutrition myths I just went over with you are highly, highly researched. So it's coming from a good place. It's also coming from the heart. I'm not going to lead you astray. I'm not going to sell you a bag of goods that's got nothing in them and no good for you there. So hopefully you've enjoyed this time around. And let's start rocking with these podcasts, live podcasts a little bit more and get that noggin working, get the brain moving, get that little hamster wheel spinning around and become that better version of yourself. So I'm going to ask you this before I get out of here. Right now, while you're watching this, are you a better version of yourself when you got up this morning? Hopefully you can say yes. And tomorrow you'll be a better version of yourself than you are today. You keep on doing that each and every day, you'll be one hell of a person, and I hope to be able to shake your hand. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for not staring at my blue blocker glasses here, doing all the research and the work, and doing some posts and everything else. If you want to intern for me, I'd be more than happy to bring you on as an intern and go over a lot of things, new concepts, new topics, and show you how the real health, fitness, wellness, nutrition world works and how to become the foremost authority on that. So thank you for being here. And as always, live functionized.